the Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr., I was actually a little shocked that Chris Eubank Jr. decided to activate that rematch clause, but then I'm not. I don't know how it would have gone because I know Liam Smith injured his back, if I'm correct. I think that Liam Smith looked incredible in that fight when he took that fight last minute with since Conor Ben, the whole incident. I don't think it will play out any different, even though Eubank Jr. has now brought on Bomac. So when you bring on Terrence Crawford's trainer late in the game, it takes a while to like warm up. At least Anthony Joshua was with Derek James for more than X amount of months, and he moved to Texas in the sweltering heat. I know Eubank was here in Vegas with Bomac, but Bomac was specifically focused on Terrence Crawford for this fight. So I don't think there's going to be much changes, because I know that Eubank didn't really have a trainer growing up besides his dad, and then he had Roy Jones Jr. I just believe Eubank is just going to go back to what he knows, and he's going to try to have a knockout because he wants to prove a point because of the way he lost last time. I think it will end in a stoppage, a stoppage. I want to say 8-10 for Liam.
It's a bit of a strange one, this, because obviously Liam Smith, Chris Eubank Jr., the first fight didn't really go the way anyone thought it would go. Everybody thought Eubank would probably, grind Smith down, even though that hadn't really been done bar Canelo. And then Smith came out and caught him cold. He was fantastic in those first few rounds. Just put the pressure on and landed those big shots. Obviously, that was the contentious elbow that kind of landed as well that Eubank was clinging on to as a reason for the defeat. But this is a weird fight. Most people I'm seeing are quoting the fact that they think the fight will go exactly the same way and Smith will blow him out again. I don't know. I think we could see this fight go deep. I wouldn't be surprised if Eubank turns up with his head screwed on and maybe edges the fight. I'll go against the grain and I'll say Eubank will win the rematch, but I know I'll be in the minority there.
Okay, yeah, the Liam Smith Chris Eubank rematch. I admire Chris Eubank for getting back in with him. I know that he's done the default thing of changing trainers around, or I think I seen an interview with Roy Jones and it came down to scheduling, but he's going to have a new team for this. But unfortunately, a team can't help you in the ring. I think what we've seen the last time is that Liam Smith is just a better fighter, and at 160 pounds again, I think that Liam will break through. Maybe shorter, maybe longer, but I'm not convinced that Chris Eubank can make the changes necessary to overcome, a real tough world-class operator like Liam Smith. I think we've seen the fight before, and you're going to see the same thing again. Liam Smith is very, very underrated. As I said, pure world level, and I think Chris Eubank Jr.'s time is past. I don't think he's focused on the right things in his career. He's not focused on improving properly. It's always been about mimicking someone else. I like Liam Smith in that fight by knockout.
This one's quite a tough one because, generally you would say just a rematch, more of the same. But approaching this one, they can probably sell it from the standpoint that Chris Eubank Jr. was drained going into the first fight because he'd gone through that whole camp when he was trying to get down to the weight that had been stipulated to face Conor Ben, and that fell apart. So he was probably still struggling a little bit, having put his body through all of that. That being said, I think we'll see a better version of Eubank in this rematch encounter. However, I just think that Smith might have his number. Eubank Jr., when he steps up against better opponents, Billy Joe Saunders, George Groves, Liam Smith in the first fight, he sort of gets found out, and I think that he'll get found out again, although he'll give a much better account of himself, but it still won't be good enough. Liam Smith's underrated. He was underrated by myself in the first fight. I thought Eubank would be too good for him and too big for him, etc., but it didn't prove to be the case. I stood corrected, and I think that Smith will get the win in the rematch as well, on points.